If you followed my work, you know that I consider omega-3 fish oil to be an indispensable part of my daily regimen, and that I've recommended it for my patients and followers for decades. If you're already taking omega-3s, you should know that I've discovered a product so special that it's become my go-to brand. Dr. Jeffrey Bland, one of the luminaries in the world of complementary health, takes omega-3s to a new level. Omega-3 Rejuvenate from Big Bold Health is a premium blend of pure oils from wild-caught Alaskan cod and sockeye salmon, sourced from the pristine waters of Alaska. Unlike most other brands, Omega-3 Rejuvenate does it differently. The product comes straight from the sea into the hands of skilled fishermen, instantly flash frozen, and taken to their specially designed shoreside plant using a low-heat technique to extract the pure amber omega oil that contains all natural and abundant full-spectrum omega-3s, including EPA, DHA, as well as DPA, plus all natural vitamins A and D, and naturally occurring pro-resolving mediators to support cardiovascular, cognitive, and immune health. Their unique process preserves the natural goodness of the fish, so you get maximum benefits in every soft gel. No fillers, no shortcuts, just pure, potent wellness. Visit bigboldhealth.com/Hoffman and experience the difference. That's bigboldhealth.com/Hoffman for Omega-3 Rejuvenate. Use coupon code Hoffman20 for 20% off site-wide. Welcome back to today's Intelligent Medicine Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Ronald Hoffman. A really fun time of the week for me because I really enjoy our sessions together. It's our weekly Q&A with Leyla, and I get to have a great conversation based on your questions. Questions come to questions@drhoffman.net. Together we tackle your questions from both the angle of medicine, but as well from the standpoint of medical nutrition therapy, which Leyla Mutin is expert in. Okay, so great stuff, part one. And so let's see if we can get through as many questions as possible in part two.
Yes. We've got an email from Nicole. Are there vitamins that assist in the prevention of glaucoma? I'm a 44-year-old female, and my mother has glaucoma. My yearly eye exam showed increased pressure in my eyes. The ophthalmologist informed me there was nothing I can do to prevent it.
So, a lot of eye nutrition is based on studies on macular degeneration. Yeah. And these studies actually date back to the 1980s. And they found that zinc made a difference, and then they started adding to that repertoire. They came up with lutein and zeaxanthin, and also omega-3. And, if you want to add some other things, potentially there's taurine and other things. Can you think of any others that might be in a... there is actually...
For eye health, is bilberry still a thing?
Oh, sure.
Eye health?
Yeah.
Some vitamin A?
Sure.
Yeah.
There's what is called the ARIDS formula, which actually got bought by Bausch & Lomb. So you can get from a major eye company an ARIDS formula. They have the patent for ARIDS formula, which is a combination of nutrients that support the macula of the eye. Now, a lot of people say, well, let me take that because I got an eye problem. But there are different types of eye problems. There's corneal problems. There's problems with tear production. There's problems with myopia and the opposite, presbyopia, and there's problems with the retina. There's optic neuropathy, which is behind the eye. It's like the nerve connection between the eye and the brain. And then there's also glaucoma, which is thought to be just a pressure phenomenon. So that intraocular pressure, the pressure builds up. But there's also some evidence that there's some oxidative damage that's occurring in glaucoma when you start to lose vision. And so it may be that antioxidants are helpful.
Yes.
I cannot tell you that there's a study that reliably shows that one nutrient or another is helpful in glaucoma. But there's that. Go ahead.
I remember this is years ago. I remember the name of one of the authors, Johnny Bowden.
Oh, sure.
Who was a nutritionist.
Yeah, I've interviewed him.
But I remember there was another.
I'm
trying to. Yes, he was great. And I remember there was a book. It had to do with metabolic syndrome, insulin resistance. I don't remember the actual title. However, he spoke about the pressure in his eyes, the number started to tick downward as he became more metabolically fit. I don't remember Dr. Hoffman if he was talking about himself.
That much we can say. There's an association between metabolic syndrome, hypertension, and increased pressure in the eye. Not always, because you can actually have some very skinny people who have glaucoma. There are different types of glaucoma. True. But one type of glaucoma is related to the single biggest driver of disease, which is insulin-resistant metabolic syndrome. So we could say, get on a healthy diet. But also there is some evidence that vitamin B3 may play a role in that, because it does offer mitochondrial support, niacinamide or nicotinamide riboside. I think there's been some research on that for glaucoma, so I would recommend that. There's also there's some evidence. It's a little speculative, but Life Extension offers products that are made with bioflavonoids, and bioflavonoids reduce capillary leakage, which could lead to pressure buildup, blah, blah, blah. It's just like the veins swell and, your ankles become, develop edema. It's thought that maybe something like that's happening in the eye. So you can use bioflavonoids, bioflavonoids for that.
That could be helpful. All right. Very, very good. Nicole, what I would say to you is, your mother has glaucoma. Is she on the continuum at all of metabolic syndrome, insulin resistance, prediabetes, any of that? How about you yourself? Because if you are a little bit overweight, or your blood sugar is a little bit on the high side of normal, it doesn't even have to be abnormal yet. That could offer a lot of clues as to what may be impacting glaucoma for both you and your mother, in fact. So try getting fit that way if you're not already. Certainly, I'm just being presumptuous here. We don't know Nicole.
Right.
We don't know anything else about her except for glaucoma.
And here's a cure for glaucoma. It's an herb.
Woo.
It's called marijuana.
Oh, I've read that.
Okay. So here's the thing, though. The way they discovered this is they looked at the population of Jamaica, which is divided into non-partakers and heavy partakers, because the Rastafarians, it's almost like religiously condoned to smoke marijuana. The guys are the dreads, the reggae guys, so it's a thing. And so it was found that high consumers of marijuana have less intraocular pressure. And some sufferers of glaucoma, which can be painful, use medicinal marijuana to alleviate that. So, I think, what was the name of that? He was like a black host of TV show. Oh, my goodness. Anyway.
Bryant Gumbel.
Not Bryant Gumbel. No. You can go through all these guys, and they're straight as an arrow. But this guy used, and admittedly used marijuana. What? Anyway, I'm not sure he had glaucoma, but so
okay. That's interesting.
So this is something that, other downsides. Certainly, there are other downsides to that. How can you maintain a high level of functionality and smoke a lot of pot? I think there's a lot of disadvantage.
How long could that work? Because if you're going to smoke marijuana, you're going to get the munchies. You're going to go overeat. You're going to gain weight. You're eventually going to wind up with metabolic abnormalities like hyperinsulinism, insulin resistance, and that could add to the pressure in the eyes. So how good is smoking marijuana good for until then? Although some people claim to really be able to control their munchies. I don't know. I'm not a user, so I don't know.
Montel Williams was the guy.
But
he did it for multiple sclerosis, not glaucoma.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But I have to say is that I have never seen a fat reggae singer or a fat Rastafarian.
Not Bob Marley, not his son, I forget his name.
Now, unfortunately, Bob Marley died of brain cancer at a young age. So one wonders.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Nicole, there you go. Best of luck to you.
Yeah,
All right.
and somewhere buried in the archives is an article that I wrote about glaucoma, nutritional support for glaucoma, so you might want to take a look at it.
Yeah. Go to drhoffman.com to access those articles. Just go there.
And just put in a search, Dr. Ronald Hoffman, glaucoma, and it'll pull out the article. Searches are pretty efficient. Or search on our website at drhoffman.com.
Okay. We got an email from Diane. She's asking, can long-term effects of chemo cause insomnia and occasional nausea? Long-term effects of chemo.
Yeah.
Insomnia and nausea.
Yeah. I mean, there is this phenomenon of chemo brain, and certainly the brain is involved in mediating the depth and quality of and duration of sleep. So it may be that has had an impact, certainly. Can it cause chronic nausea? I imagine it can. It should be short-lived.
Should be, right?
Mm-hmm.
During the use, maybe sometime after, if there's a half-life.
Well, how it does that, certainly it can affect the taste buds, and maybe create food aversions.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Interesting. All right. So, Diane, there you go. Dr. Hoffman, I think it's a good time to hear from one of our sponsors.
Sure. Let's do that now, and then I have a thought about what can be done for the brain consequences of chemo brain.
Okay.
Kids don't just bring home homework, they bring home germs. And those germs don't just stay with them, they spread to the whole household. That's why Clear Nasal Spray was created by a practicing physician to give parents and grandparents peace of mind. You may not think about it, but your nose is filtering out a semi-truck full of air every single day. Clear isn't just another spray. It creates an additional layer of protection in your nose that blocks bacteria and viruses before they can even take hold. Yes, even that virus. Supporting your body's defenses right where germs first try to enter. Clear is a hygiene product recommended for daily use, drug-free, non-drowsy, and safe for all ages. Just a quick spray in the morning and evening helps you cleanse your nose. Don't just hope for protection, create it. Get Clear Nasal Spray, your daily defense. Clear Nasal Spray is available at retailers nationwide and online. Check out Xlear.com for our special offers. That's Xlear.com.
Thanks for listening, and thanks for supporting our sponsors. They, of course, are what make intelligent medicine a continuing free resource to you. And now back to our questions. And I just wanted to say that, when it comes to chemo brain, one of the recommended supplements is lion's mane. Lion's mane mushrooms have benefits in terms of cognitive support, and specifically for women in menopause or women who suffer from chemo brain. I suppose that could also apply to men as well.
Okay, interesting. Good stuff. All right. For insomnia, Diane, start taking a little melatonin at bedtime or shortly before bedtime. Try something like that.
Which has anti-cancer effects.
Yeah, that's right. And if you've had chemo, you've had cancer, you may be one of those people who would benefit from taking 10 to 20 milligrams of melatonin at bedtime.
The higher doses are the cancer doses. And some people say, oh my God, I would never wake up if I took that much. There's a threshold effect. Is what works at 1.5 or 3, you're not going to get any added benefits by taking, in terms of knocking you out. It's not like you won't be able to drive a vehicle after you take your 10 or 20. There's a threshold effect of the melatonin.
Yeah. A reminder to everybody to take the melatonin before bedtime. You don't want to wake up in the middle of the night, you're unable to fall back to sleep, say at 2 a.m. Right? It's not the time to take melatonin.
Right. Some people say the time-release melatonin is best. And there are other people who say don't take it precisely at bedtime. Take it a few hours before bedtime to prepare you for sleep. I think there's variations on that theme. I'm going to try and play around with melatonin when I'm going really literally crossing the date line and going for a very long plane flight.
That's right.
Where
Take your melatonin with you.
It's going to be the opposite time.
Yeah.
So at noon, it'll be midnight. It's just
Right.
half the world away. And so I'm going to try and play around with melatonin to get me on the right time to adjust my chronobiology, my circadian rhythm.
Yes.
When I get to New Zealand. Fortunately, I have some time to adapt. I don't just get off the plane and jump on a bike and start riding up into the hills. There's a few days where I can acclimate and get adjusted to the new rhythm of the day.
Right. That's good. Good idea. All right. We've got a question here from Gail. Hello, Dr. Hoffman. Many years I've listened to your show, especially as I travel to and from work. I'm writing to find out if I should use flow drops, or would you recommend them? These are the drops of vitamins rather than taking a tablet, a capsule, a gummy,
Is this a brand called Flow?
No, there are different types of flow drops. There are different types of, just in these bottle dropper things. So taking it that way. It's said to be more bioavailable than taking a capsule or a tablet or a gummy. And you're not getting the sugar that's in the gummy. Now, I don't know what these flow drops taste like, but you know how we would take B12 sublingually under the tongue?
Right.
The flow drops are not necessarily all meant to be sublingual, to be taken orally, but it's liquid. I suppose like liquid fish oil. You want to make that argument.
Yeah, but it wouldn't help for fish oil because fish oil is not absorbed in the mouth at all. But B vitamins can be absorbed under the tongue, some of them, and especially B12. And for people who have pernicious anemia, a lack of intrinsic factor that prevents their absorption lower in the GI tract, it's been suggested that people use sublingual or nasal administration. You can actually cross the blood barrier in the nose. And, sublingual B12 somewhat works. The problem is that for a lot of things, you don't need to do that. You just eat the vitamin. And it's absorbed in the gastrointestinal tract, not in the mouth.
Yeah.
And the problem
B12 shots are great.
Yeah, sure. That's another way to get around that. But it also depends on the vitamin or the mineral. So, for example, magnesium. You have to have a heavy amount of magnesium to make a dent for you. So it'd be hard to incorporate that in a drop. On the other hand, something like selenium or chromium or molybdenum, these are minerals that trace amounts. These are trace minerals. And a trace amount is going to give you something. So that could possibly work. I think it's kind of a gimmick. However, I have to say, I just read something interesting about vitamin D, and it appears that vitamin D has there are some absorption advantages of a sublingual administration of vitamin D for some people. And for some people, they don't get adequate levels of vitamin D with oral administration of vitamin D. And so you can get, it's about a 5-fold amplification. So if you're taking 10,000 of vitamin D orally, it's said, and I just saw this because I used to be kind of skeptical of this. I know you might see this starting to make sense in your practice, that if you take 10,000 orally, you take 2,000 sublingually. And so that's a use case for vitamin D drops, which I always thought were kind of a gimmick. But some people say that this is a way to kind of bypass the barriers to absorption and uptake of vitamin D for people who have trouble bumping their vitamin D levels.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good idea. All right. Oh, very, very good. Gail, there you go. Thank you very much for your email. Let's see. Michael's written us, and he writes, "Hi, Dr. Hoffman and Leyla. I don't eat any red meat, but I do eat fish. I eat salmon, herring. I also eat turkey. I know you are a fan of red meat and want to know if I would be getting the same benefits of the same by eschewing it, but eating just seafood and turkey. Turkey, but no chicken, Michael? Okay. Yeah, if you're getting enough of it, I'm a little worried about the seafood because I'm worried about toxins, whether it's PCBs from farm
Over-reliance
salmon,
on seafood.
from mercury,
Over-reliance on
exactly,
it, yeah.
over-reliance on all of that. Mercury from, certain seafood like tuna, swordfish, king mackerel,
PCBs,
tilefish,
which are
marlin, PCBs
also
in the
chemical
farm stuff.
contaminants that are especially from fish from coastal waters and shellfish.
And turkey, yeah.
The one thing I think of is carnitine. I think that meat is a pretty good source of red meat, especially as a source of carnitine.
So is liver.
Right, and organ meats are
Organ meats are
beneficial
great.
in that respect.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a bad way to go.
Yeah.
But
I'm
I also
happy
I don't want to demonize red meat. I just don't think
No.
that,
Not at all. And it shouldn't be demonized. We've been sold a bill of goods a long time ago. So as long as everything is clean and good quality, that's what we're looking for. Turkey, okay, but get some dark meat going in there, Michael. That's where the iron, the selenium, right, the zinc, it's in the dark meat. It's not in the turkey breast. So get a drumstick, get a leg. When you're getting it ground, make sure there's dark meat in there as well. That dark meat is very, very important. The fat's there as well. I remember going to a conference. This has to be almost 20 years ago, Dr. Hoffman, where they talked about there's too much omega-6 in turkey. That is a big source of omega-6
because you
fat,
are
which
what
is
you
not a great
eat.
thing.
You are what you eat. So
Yes.
the feed is corn. They're corn-fed or they're fed
Corn-fed,
seed meal
soy-fed
that
or
is
something.
high in omega-6 and not enough omega-3. And wild turkeys eat wild plants that actually have a fairly reasonable amount of omega-3 in them.
Right. And all the insects and worms and everything that go along with that.
You ever see wild turkeys?
Yes. We have them in our backyard out east.
Oh,
we see them in flocks.
Do they chase you?
And no, they don't chase us, but they'll come around and swish about on the lawn and go back into the woods. We've got a preserve behind us.
They're kind of territorial.
Kind of go back and forth.
They sometimes resent intruders, so you have to make peace with them. Yeah, I do see them they're in New Jersey. It's always fun to see them, crossing the road. You feel like you're, back in colonial times when you see those kind of birds.
They come around in flocks. Typically, we'll see 6 or 7 of them walking around and everything. Yeah, it's nice to see, actually. My husband will want to get a bow and arrow and, shoot something, drag it home for Thanksgiving.
He really wants to go paleo. I mean, he wasn't just born in the wrong century. He was born in the wrong millennium.
Yeah. He keeps talking about us getting a freezer to keep in the garage so that when he calls his friends who are, kind of culling the deer population, they're sharpshooters, get some venison and stuff. I'm like, so absolutely. Why not?
There you go.
Yeah. And apparently, Long Island deer meat tastes better than, say, Pennsylvania deer meat because of what they're eating.
Okay.
So
interesting.
Apparently, there's a big difference.
I have beach deer. It's really crazy. They come off the beach and they jump the fence onto my lawn, and it's very cute. You'll see like a doe with a couple of little, what do you call them? Little deer.
Baby deer.
Yeah. Bandy.
Colts. Bandy. Yeah. Yeah, Michael, make sure you're getting good quality animal protein for your muscles and bones. Don't eschew red meat, but if you don't like it, it's a different matter. I don't want people to eat food they don't like.
Yeah.
Some people just have it, they just don't like it. Never want you to eat something you don't like. However, I don't want you to be that picky.
I gotta say that one of the ways you want to lose weight, don't eat yummy food. Just figure out what are your trigger foods. And don't eat yummy food. If it's too yummy, like for example, peanut butter is it's an okay food. But if that's your trigger food, and you get that tablespoon in there, and by the time you're finished, it's like half the jar is gone.
Right.
It's too yummy. Don't eat. It's not per se unhealthy. It's just a trigger food for you. And I think one of the problems with our food culture is that we like to eat really yummy things. And in a lot of cultures where there's no obesity and there's not a lot of the type of degenerative diseases that we see, and people don't get heart attacks, the food is not that yummy. I mean, I read an account by an anthropologist who spent some time with, one of the tribes, and he said that the food just wasn't that tasty. It's like everything was like boiled. It was boiled.
For sustenance.
And it was for sustenance. And it was like, I'm not eating this for kicks. I'm eating this, and it's like, how much boiled, wild yams can you eat? It's
right.
And
right. Exactly.
Some, tough little, the forest animal that you kill with a bow and arrow. It's not exactly a, prime rib of beef.
Exactly. So for the foodies out there, you may have to rethink all of this. If you've got a metabolic abnormality, as over 60% of American adults do, and even more and more so in children. And this is often an argument, like in the carnivore, ketogenic community. I'm sick of eating meat. Well, you know what? You need to wait until you are truly hungry and then eat.
Right.
You may find that you're eating once a day, twice a day, but the 3 meals a day, that may get a little boring. And you've got to wait till you're truly hungry to then feel truly satisfied with the food you're eating, because it's there to cure your hunger, not your appetite, not your eyes, not your foodie galore, not your all of that.
Right.
All of that, the taste bud thing. It's about curing your hunger more than anything, and be done. And so much better for your metabolism.
Treat your body like a temple, not like an amusement park, is the saying.
Absolutely. Yes. So we all have to rethink all of this.
Yeah.
The way we've been using food, literally using food. Okay. So do we have time for another one?
We do. We could,
quick one.
This is like the bonus round here. And
yeah. Okay. This actually comes from Barbara. Hello, I ordered the Endefen. You were talking about that it's good for GERD and all of that. I was wondering, how much of it should I put in water? How well should it be mixed? Sometimes I find it's not mixing very well. The way to take Endefen, Barbara, is to start with 1 level tablespoon twice a day in between your meals. Mix it in enough water so that it mixes, right? But if you find maybe it's not enough water, if it's still kind of powdery, get some more water. Maybe make sure that the water is not too cold. That maybe it's not mixing right for you. Maybe more room temperature water, like the water that's been sitting on your night table overnight. Take that water because it's room temperature. Do something like that. Or water from the kettle that's already cooled off quite a bit.
Since I don't have GERD, I've never tasted it. Is it?
I've not tasted it either.
Oh, okay.
But it is very powdery.
Yeah.
But I've not heard any complaints about its flavor or its mixability.
Okay.
But what you want to do is
People
1
like
level tablespoon in water, and then work your way up to 2 level tablespoons twice a day in water in between your meals.
Must be in between your meals because the idea is to coat your esophagus and stomach.
Let it work on you, help with the repair of the esophagus, the gastric mucosa.
I just think it's a great product. It's available from FullScript, which is our online dispensary, dearhoffmanstore.com. If you sign up for FullScript, you can do a search on FullScript for Endefen, Endefen. I believe the product is made by Metagenics, if I'm not mistaken. And so they're, a really highly regarded professional brand. And I saw the booth there at the Integrative Health Symposium where they were showing their stuff to health professionals. So you have access to that through drhoffmanstore.com. And give it a try for your GERD because we found it very effective.
Especially for intractable GERD. Yeah, absolutely. And reminder, you need to be following a GERD diet. You don't want to take these things and continue drinking very strong cups of coffee and chocolate and tomato sauce and citrusy things and raw broccoli and onions, that deep fried things, very spicy food. People love their hot sauce, for example.
Yeah.
But if you have GERD, you may need to lay off for a little while.
Yeah, and just from personal
That's okay.
experience, I have to say that, fortunately or unfortunately, I have a very poor tolerance of anti-inflammatory drugs. When I take a Motrin or an Advil, even when I take it with food, I immediately get the sensation of heartburn, which I very rarely get. I mean, and I eat spicy food and I drink decaf coffee, very strong, and I have alcoholic drinks from time to time, not so much anymore, and I never get GERD. The only couple of times that I get GERD is when I take a nonsteroidal anti-inflammatory drug, which I'm, like if I hurt myself, I'm sore.
Yeah.
I'm tempted to do that, but no, it's poorly tolerated. So check it out. People take these things so casually, and they may not make the association. They certainly can cause ulcers. You can end up with a bleeding ulcer from taking just over-the-counter Motrin or Advil, especially on an empty stomach. But even if you take it with food, you can get that. And some of the prescription nonsteroidal anti-inflammatory drugs are notorious for causing gastrointestinal bleeds. And that's why, I feel there's such a double standard because, they talk about supplements. Oh, my God, there's we found 2 people, who had a liver abnormality when they took this or that or the other thing, and they wrote it up in a scientific journal. It was like a big, warning. Yeah. Let's take it off the market. But they're selling stuff over the counter that is sending thousands and thousands of people to the hospital, sometimes fatally.
Including Tylenol. Tylenol, which is not an NSAID, but
Tylenol is another one. Got to be careful with Tylenol.
Yeah. Yeah. And a reminder to everybody, questions at drhoffman.net. That's questions at drhoffman.net. And don't forget that you could shop Dr. Hoffman's full script dispensary, hundreds of curated vetted supplements. Go to drhoffmanstore.com, because buying through full script offers fast free shipping and optional refill reminders via text or email, and multiple payment options like Apple, Google Pay. It's safe, it's secure, and it includes world-class service. drhoffmanstore.com is the place to go for your supplements.
Indeed. That's where I get mine. That's where you get yours. Good stuff. All right. Thanks, Leyla, and thanks, audience, for joining us. And we'll be back again next week for another Q&A with Leyla. Remember, send questions or comments. Got a comment?
Or comments.
Maybe there's something that we've said that you want to say yay or nay to.
Respond to.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Questions at drhoffman.net. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dr. Roland Hoffman.
Thanks, everybody.
This is the Intelligent Medicine Podcast. I want to thank you for listening to the Intelligent Medicine Podcast. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, or your favorite podcast app, and get new episodes automatically downloaded every weekday. And please give us a rating and review. It truly helps new people discover intelligent medicine. The Intelligent Medicine Podcast is for general informational purposes only and does not constitute the practice of medicine, nursing, or other professional healthcare services, including the giving of medical advice, and no doctor-patient relationship is formed. The use of information on this podcast or materials linked from this podcast is at the user's own risk. The content of this podcast is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Users should not disregard or delay in obtaining medical advice for any medical condition they may have, and should seek the assistance of their healthcare professionals for any such conditions. Finally, please visit drhoffman.com and discover everything Intelligent Medicine has to offer, including frequently updated, unbiased health news and fully vetted product and supplement recommendations.
This is Leyla Muden, registered dietitian nutritionist. I maintain a private practice and see patients regularly. If you require a nutrition consult with me but live out of town, there's no need to travel to New York City. I have telephone and telehealth consultations with clients from all over the country. Please visit drhoffman.com for more information. And to set up an appointment, call 212-779-1744. That's 212-779-1744. I look forward to being a collaborator in your healthcare.